Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
We're going streaking!
Dave's Video Graveyard.
That guy in little clothes. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I'm not a smart man.
Shut up!
One tubby.
What's wrong with him?
My first thought would be alive.
Why so serious?
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
Of all the radio shows in the world, this is definitely one of them. Dave's Video Graveyard on 100.5 WOW FM.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call it President.
100.5 WOW FM. It is Dave's Video Graveyard with you once again. We are celebrating once again because it is another Guest Choice special. Tonight we are joined by Mike Boomer from the local Wrestle Rampage. How you doing, dude?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me. How are we all here?
Fantastic. Paulie, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. So now, not sure if Mike got the chance to tune in last week and take you up on the challenge of a fist fight, but should we follow it up now or wait until later?
First I'm hearing, but I'm keen as beans.
Come at me, bro.
You know, weird on-air noise tonight. You'll know that either Paul or Mike have gone down for the 3 count. And,
don't worry, I'll make it look good, Paul. I'll put you over.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into your choice of films, which I must say, very close to my own heart in a lot of ways, but you guys have got a show coming up on the weekend.
This weekend, actually, down at Fowler's Live in the city. Big one. Simply the Best.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It better be. It's named after Tina Turner song.
Classic, yeah.
Awesome. If anyone's interested in checking that out, make sure you head over to Wrestle Rampage either on Facebook or Wrestle Rampage's official site simply by Googling that. There's still tickets available down at Fellas Live. Is it 18 plus?
It is adults only, yes.
Oh, yeah. You know what that means.
Gonna get naked.
Wrestling, drinks.
Well, I was going to say no children, but, you know, we all think different things when we hear over 18. So, yeah, we might start the evening off with what we've been doing a lot lately, which is Trailer Trash, where we basically just talk crap about all the new trailers that we managed to see this week.
Yep.
We sent around a link between the 3 of us this week, and there was some good stuff on there. It started out with the second Equalizer film, which is it's Denzel's Taken franchise.
I haven't seen a trailer for that yet.
Oh, really?
Because it's been on a new trailer for it every week.
I think possibly I've seen the entire film now.
Yeah, I think so.
Each trailer they release is another minute long. And what did you think, Mike?
Well, it's just one of those things that the critics will probably say it's like your Taken franchise, but I just can't help but like it because it's Denzel.
Yeah,
exactly. He's just so cool.
Yeah. Call 911.
I hope in this movie he also checks the quality of other people to King Kong to himself once again, because that's a great measuring stick. I
can't actually remember the first. Like, I've watched the first one, I think, maybe twice, and I still can't really remember.
The first one's pretty much a retired CIA operative or whatever he is.
He works in a hardware store.
Works in Bunnings, basically. Yeah. And that's pretty much all you need to know about the first one.
And he's like really, really nice, but then he's also a badass as well.
But this one, to keep it current and keep it thing, he works for a ride service.
He's like Uber driver or something. Yeah,
pretty much.
Fast drivers.
Yeah. But no, I can't really talk too much garbage because I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the cinema, but it will definitely grace my screen sometime soon.
Definitely on the viewing list. Yes.
The next thing up on the list was the brand new trailer for the Predator film, which I've got to say, it finally doesn't look direct to DVD to me.
Yeah, it still doesn't look that great either.
It's Shane Black. That's all you got to worry about.
But is it a case of it doesn't look that good, or are you just like holding on to the past of the Predators? Like you've got this.
I'm holding on to the past for a lot of things. Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's just it's one of those ones where I'm sure when I watch it and all these things come together, like the setting and the people in it, like I don't know why these people are on a bus going. So like it's just. There just seems to be like a lot of
from what
set
I
pieces,
read of
and I don't know how it all comes together.
From what I read of the trailer, it's excuse me. It is basically a team of mercenaries that encounter the Predator on a mission, and as part of the trailer, pretty much shows their debriefing when they either steal something from the Predator or they get away from the Predator.
To a police station,
and the Predator comes back after them.
Yeah. And then there's a new Predator.
I'm on board, so
I'll watch it.
It doesn't have Adrian Brody in it, so I'm just so excited to see that one. There was another new trailer this week for The Meg, which
there was.
Doesn't matter. They could deliberately release trailers trying to make me not want to see it. Not going to work.
I might go see this in the cinema. Hey,
it needs to be, I reckon.
Really, that was probably the least interesting. There wasn't any of them.
Big shark.
Oh, wow.
And Jason Statham going, "It's a megalodon."
But it's they've totally cut out Dwight of all the.
I know.
I think there must have been a backlash because we don't want comic relief in a movie about a shark that's like could eat Jaws in one swallow.
Yeah. I did actually like the look of this. Sorry, we'll go to 22 Miles first. Mark Wahlberg just phoning it in.
Mark Wahlberg in Safe House, basically, from what I read of the trailer.
Yeah. Or what was it? 10
And I was so ready to hate this. And then it's got Maggie from Walking Dead and also the guy from The Raid. And now I want to see it.
Well, I've got to say, from the trailer that I watched, I genuinely think that possibly he is a poster feature more so than actual. It really looks like the dude from The Raid's movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think he is almost Russell Crowe in is it Body of Lies with DiCaprio?
Yeah.
He was like, it was a split billing, but he was in it maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I kind of get that feeling from this, which wouldn't hurt because Mark Wahlberg's outstayed his welcome lately for me.
Yeah.
Oh, is there beef with Wahlberg?
I don't want to say that I'd knock him out, but
I can't take him seriously. Like, I don't know what he's like. Because when he's funny, he's actually quite funny when he's not taking himself seriously. But when like I watched Patriots Day where he it's all about the Boston bombing, and every time he's on screen, I'm like, just don't get. You're funny.
Come out, swing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And also seeing him as the tough character in comedies like Daddy's Home and the other guys. That's his market. And I know he doesn't think he has, but he's been typecast.
But we're gonna put that guy into like a serious terrorist drama. It's like, nah, he's still the comic relief from like the comic tough guy.
I feel like someone was like, "What is coming out this year?" And they found the second Sakara, and they're like, "Oh, we've got something like that." It's with Mark Wahlberg, but yeah, it's coming out. So the other one that come up, which I knew nothing about, it said based on the absolute classic, which obviously means it's a book because I didn't know about it. And it was the house with the clock. The house with a clock in the walls. What book is that?
I thought it was a description of like your house, but then I said, it's clock.
Hey, it's through the wall. It's not in the wall. You need to learn your descriptions.
Wrong glory.
What did you think of it? I'm pretty excited.
I would watch it. Yeah, like it's like looks like a bit of Harry Potter with a...
No, don't say that, because then I won't want to see it.
Why don't you like Harry Potter?
Because I have taste.
Wow.
Grease
just
too.
learned something new today.
Just picking fights with everyone tonight, aren't we?
Well, now it seems that Josh Brolin's a thing, and it's not going to go away. The next trailer we saw was The Legacy of the Great White Deer Hunter,
you
a
can't
Netflix
tell me you're not
movie.
going to go see this movie. Or going to watch this movie.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I'm a fan of clean-shaven Danny McBride. And I was like, why is he playing such a small role? And then it says from the creator of Eastbound and Down and Vice Principal. So that's like, that's where he's from. What do you think of that one, Mike?
It kind of looks like one of those classic, there's going to be a story, they're all happy and stuff, but it's almost too much phoned in that you're like, oh, I've seen it without having to see it.
It looks like a remake of something no one's ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just, who cares?
And like, they're not going to be able to balance the drama and comedy. Like,
oh, not
like,
at all.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, and I've said this before, like, Josh Brolin falls into that Tommy Lee Jones. Even when he's supposed to be having a good time, it doesn't come across as he's having a good time.
He looks like Nick Nolte. He's turning into Nick Nolte.
Definitely. I feel with the year that Brolin's had with Deadpool, Avengers, Infinity Wars, there are so many shelved Brolin movies that are now going to get released over the next 6 months.
But it's on Netflix, so you probably will still watch it.
Yeah. I'll still bitch about it like I went to the cinema and paid my good money to see it. The only movie on this entire list that I just could not even get through the trailer was King of Thieves with Michael Caine. It's gone into that new genre that's kind of popped up over the last 4 or 5 years where fully established elderly actors play like the likes of Red or Going with Style and all these other movies with aging actors where the main gimmick of the film is that they're old but doing it. And I'm just like, not interested.
Except for Harry Brown, because he did that like a few years, like that's when he's like a bit of a vigilante, but like it played to the thought that he wasn't like a superhero old guy. He was just an old guy who's got a grudge against people on his estate, and he like goes and kills them. And it's like that's believable, that's all right. But this is just like, that's
the only movie I'm going to forgive for a grisly cast of old men will be the next Lethal Weapon film, which has been announced, and both Glover and Gibson are on board. Excited.
Wow. Did Gibson have enough time in his schedule? Because like he's got so much stuff coming up.
Hey, he's a national treasure as of 1997 backwards.
Is he still alive?
hey.
Most national treasures are white and racist, so yes, he is a national treasure.
Fits right into the... Assassination Nation. I thought it was a Purge. Is it a Purge?
No, it's not a Purge.
I genuinely thought it was a Purge TV show.
I don't know, man. Like, I see a lot. This is another new genre of just like, let's see how much we can shock people. And
well, having a trailer that makes fun of trigger warnings and different elements of like hot topics. So 2018. Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll get a lot of play because. It's like one of those ones when we're still working back in the video store, like you know that people are gonna like get it because it's confronting and stuff, but it's gonna be R18, but it's not gonna be good. It's just.
I feel like someone went on a Today Tonight website and just looked up the tag words down the bottom.
I was about to say it's just what can they push and see what they
exactly.
Can away with.
And I know it won't deliver on any one of those dot points that it said. Mandy, now you screwed your face up in a way that I know all too well. I'm pretty damn excited for that satanic panic film that is Nicolas Cage's absolutely loopy horror movie, I guess.
It's very bright.
I get a lot of like Ash versus Evil Dead kind of vibe of it.
Yep.
Well, I felt it was, it's very stylistic of the late 70s, early 80s horror, so I instantly thought John Carpenter.
Yep.
It's got that thriving soundtrack, like Drive, whatever that new retro sound is. I'm excited. Like, I really think it's going to be
I can't
special.
wait for you to tell me about it when I don't watch it.
I really... Can anyone in 2018 get gripes with anyone for not watching something with Nicolas Cage? Really?
I was going to say, like, it's Nicolas Cage. You roll the dice. You don't know what you're going to get.
And while we're on the subject, this might be somewhat of a controversial opinion, but I feel Bruce Willis deserves to be direct-to-DVD nowadays. He has
mostly.
not delivered... No, but he needs to not be allowed to release things in the cinema even. Like, he needs punishment. It would be... I can't even think. Red. But that was an ensemble cast, so I'm not going to let him have that one.
The last one,
Looper would...
Looper, yeah.
would probably be the last thing that I enjoy. But even that was... Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the selling point for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's been in decline, and now he's just needs to be
he deserves it. Yeah. When they tried to bring Jai Courtney into the McClane family, I was like, no thanks, because he kills franchises just like he did to Terminator.
Do you like Jai Courtney?
He's in your favourite DC movie as well. Oh, you're right, Paul. I'm sorry. I've triggered. Now, the other film that we watched was, I'm not going to say it because it's not the kind of film that I like at all, but Beautiful Boy, about Steve Carell raising a son with a drug addiction.
Yep.
It looked too gripping. And I always have an issue with really gripping films. I miss the entertainment that you're supposed to take from those films. Like, I know they're meant to be, whether they're endearing or they, tell you about a grueling story. I just feel terrible after watching films like that, so I avoid them.
I'm all for dramatic Carell, so
yeah, I think that's the biggest draw factor is just to see how Carell will take his character arc and how he'll try and portray that.
Like Jim Carrey when he did like The Majestic and
Number 23.
Number 23, lots of stuff. So I'm all for it because
what was that other one he did? Sunshine, something or other.
Eternal Sunshine was another one. Yeah,
saw that for the first time this year.
Yep.
Just stop thinking about it. So thanks, guys.
Did you go and tell a bunch of people like, have you ever seen this new movie?
It is exactly the same thing that happened when in 2001, I saw Heat with Val Kilmer.
Did you see Reservoir Dogs just in the last couple of years?
Yeah, 2 years ago. I saw Heat in 2001 and tried to start selling it to people. And they're like, "Do you mean the classic Pacino, De Niro?"
Oh, you've heard of them? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Well, I discovered it, so go check it out.
I saw him on the stage.
It's a thing. It's a thing now because I've seen it. Juliet Naked. As soon as it said, I thought I was really excited just from the title. Yeah. But it wasn't about Claire Danes naked at all.
Dad's watching trailers. You got to leave the room.
But honestly, Rose Byrne, she went to the same voice coach as Sam Worthington. Because she has the most Australian English accent that I've ever heard since Rose Byrne in Peter Rabbit.
Is this the one with Ethan Hawke and Chris O'Dowd in it?
Yeah. But from the writer of High Fidelity. So it's going to have some charm.
That's why I'm going to see this.
What did you think?
To be honest,
what did a professional wrestler sit there thinking watching that romantic trailer?
It's got the classic feel good and warm about yourself and everyone wants to be happy, and I was just bored, to be honest. So I was like, let's move to the next one.
Yep, I can understand that.
And the other one was The Hate You Give, which I'm sure is going to do a lot of things. It's going to make a lot of headlines.
Yeah.
Obviously tackling a somewhat poignant and controversial story. But I reckon it'd be pretty good. I actually thought it was a Spike Lee film, just based off the content.
Now, he did the Klansman. Have you seen that trailer?
The Black Klansman.
That looks really good.
Yeah. True story as well. So that should be definitely something.
I saw one that you didn't see. It was called The Class of 84, and it's like a bit of a Stranger Things.
Is it a remake of The Class of 84?
No, Summer of 84. So Summer of 84. So it's about 4 kids that live on the same sort of cul-de-sac, and it was right around at the same time that they started putting missing kids on milk cartons.
Right.
And it's a bunch of their friends have gone missing, and they start suspecting that the cop is a serial killer that lives next to him. And it looks very good. Like the start of it.
So it's Stranger Things meet whatever that Shia LaBeouf film is where he's on home detention?
Yeah, that
Disturbia.
Yeah,
Disturbia.
It's got and so the first 3/4 of the trailer is more like a Stand By Me sort of got some funny bits, some drama. The last 25 seconds is thriller horror. It looks really, really cool. So the summer of 1984, definitely check that out when he comes out.
Serial killers, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
that's it. Just look at the following true crime has, and it's
yeah.
All you need to do is get on one of those podcasts whenever you're releasing a serial killer movie, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a podcast, and if I ever touch on anything within a story about true crime, I tag it. And we always get a couple more listeners. It's yeah. Tap that vein.
Well, we did just talk about serial killers, so you could...
We can tag to that, this one when it comes up.
Hashtag serial killers.
Hashtag true crime.
Sweet. Hashtag trailers for Naked Juliet.
Hashtag disappointed Dave.
Hashtag warning, there's no nudity at all in that show. So the other...
Dear Lionsgate.
So the other issue we had this week was Paul and I managed to go and see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Did you manage to see it?
I have not seen it yet. I'm a little skeptical whether I
Well, spoiler free.
Okay, let's go.
Basically, it is, for me, the main thing I took away from it is it's a bridge between the previous film being Jurassic World and where they want to go with all the story. It's very uneven. It gave me the feeling of 2 movies cut into one.
Yeah. I could see some reshoots have been done.
It's got Buffalo Bill in it.
It's got Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs in it. It's got the farmer from Babe, James Cromwell's in it.
That's exactly how when I told my wife that James Cromwell's in it and he's pretty old. She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, the governor from Green Mile? She's like, "No." I'm like,
the old guy
That'll Do Pig from the Babe? Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
That'll Do Interrupter, that'll do.
Yeah, it was okay, but it was a greatest hits compilations of plot points.
2-hour audition of Chris Pratt doing a Indiana Jones audition.
He is Indiana Jones in this movie. I did really enjoy the scene where, I've mentioned it before, he gets tranquilizer darted and left in front of a erupting volcano and wakes up just as the slow-moving lava's right near him, and so he has to Kill Bill himself back to back to function while it rolls, which was really cool, but it wasn't for a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah.
It was like an Indiana Jones film or The Mummy.
Our regular listener Jamie has also just asked, did I cry during Jurassic World? No, I did not. So
Yes, you did. Yes,
I
you
did not.
You totally did, because there's that one scene where the entire cinema is silent, and you definitely would have, if not cried, done this. That one giveaway breathe in everyone does when they're not crying. It's the same noise I make when I watch babies getting their hearing aids turned on videos online, where it's like I stoically watch it, and then there's this little and I'm like, I don't know what that noise was.
What do you do in your spare time?
My wife thinks it's funny to tag me in videos of babies getting their hearing aids turned on for the first time, and it's just, it is destroyingly sweet. But you still haven't
watched...
watched...
Do you realise that one video of that being turned on does not make up for the 5 hours of porn you watched before?
Excuse me, I really enjoy that documentary about chess that is called PAWN porn. Yeah, so have some respect. But yeah, anyone that's a fan of the franchise should definitely check out the newest one. Maybe it's time we went to a song.
Yeah.
This is DVG on WOWFM. Don't forget, you can join in the conversation. Jump on our Facebook, Dave's Video Graveyard on WOWFM, and let us know what you think. 100.5 WOWFM. There was a very subtle hint there in that song as to Mike's first choice for this guest choice special. Mike, why don't you tell us all about this film?
It is clearly the Spice Girls. No, it's obviously Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, released in 1995.
No, released on the 2nd of July, 1995.
Yeah, 23 years old.
Exactly 23-year-olds today. Happy birthday to this film that was... It was maybe the ending point of my love for Power Rangers, and not because of the quality of the film, but it was just the age that it was at, and I'm pretty sure it stopped being shown after school around about 1995. But I was absolutely obsessed. What was your Power Rangers story?
Well, watching it as a kid, like I always wanted to be the Red Ranger, and thought it was really cool. And then I was a little bit annoyed when they had the Green Ranger come in and he became the boss and stuff like that. Like, this is I don't know.
Because Jason was the leader for a very long time.
And I was 4 years old and I just couldn't handle it. No, the red guy. And I still have my Jason doll at home, admittedly. But I watched this.
But it's Jason Priestley from 90210. You've just put a Power Rangers t-shirt on it.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, but the movie was great as a kid. Watching it as an adult, I can see how corny and stuff it is. But it doesn't sour it at all. It's just a fun, all-round good movie that I think kids of these days, if their attention span could last long enough, would enjoy as well. I was absolutely obsessed with this movie for a very long time. And the one thing that really always upset me about it was I loved the look of the Power Rangers. That they were so iconic. And in this movie, about halfway through, they go to that mystical island, and they just get ninja suits, not Power Ranger suits. And as seen there, and it ruined it for me because that bothered you?
It really did, because I was a bit of a purist when it comes to Power Rangers. In doing research for tonight, I found out that Bulk and Skull.
Yep.
They're in about 8 more seasons after this team of the Power Rangers were no longer on screen, which that's amazing. They even were in the they even went into outer space with the Power Rangers. So I was like, wow, that is commitment to the comic relief.
Yeah.
So you said you're about 4 or 5 when this came out?
Yeah, so when this came out, I was 3 or 4. Yeah.
You've made me feel terrible about how big of a part of my childhood this played, because I was 10 when this came out, and I loved it.
I had already missed the boat with this one. So
you were too busy watching Degrassi Junior High.
Yes.
You can leave the room while the adults talk.
Yeah, no problem. It's cool.
It was filmed in Sydney, Australia, of all places, which had no tying to pretty much anything. But at the time, the Australian Film Corp, New South Wales Film Corp, were giving massive tax breaks to anyone just to try and build and establish. They then thought they perfected it in 99 and got the Star Wars prequels, which was poorly handled. They also did The Matrix and a few other massive films. But it basically turned out they had set up this infrastructure to really build a film scene in Australia. Every bit of money pretty much that they spent with making The Matrix and everything, they sent overseas to get things set up. So when everything was said and done, I was like, we're pretty much back to square one, because luckily now you get Marvel coming here and all the Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff. But yeah, nothing to do with Power Rangers.
No.
Have you ever seen this film?
No, I missed the Power Rangers train. Like, I don't know. A lot of my friends were into them, but yeah, just never got into it. I didn't get, like... But Pacific Rim is essentially Power Rangers.
Pretty much.
Because I remember watching, like, the Power Rangers fight, and then I saw Pacific Rim fight, and I'm like, this is pretty much the same.
Is
like,
it, though? Is it really?
Pretty much, man.
Is Tommy Oliver there?
Is it animal, like, robots forming into one mega robot?
They both, like, say stuff with no mouth moving, so that also annoyed me, because I always feel like, they're just sort of, their heads will go back and forth, and they're saying something, but, like, it's just...
I also love the story that a US exec went to Japan on a holiday, and while he was there, he saw the Super Saiyan TV show as well as another TV show. He's like, I can take those characters out of that one, dub them because there's no mouth movement, take the giant robot fights from that show, combine it together with some American actors for super cheap because no one had optioned the license at the time. So pretty much made something out of nothing just with
They turtled them.
Pretty much 4 minutes of footage of like American actors doing dialogue and stuff. If you ever were to look into the behind the scenes going on of particularly the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, very, very bad place to work. Basically the Blue Ranger, who was gay in real life, was pretty much bullied into leaving the show by everyone involved, even the director. He was the butt of jokes.
Wow. And
it was at a time where it just got swept under the rug and they're like, that's fine, we'll get another Blue Ranger.
Yeah,
that's depressing.
Great movie if you don't go into the backstage entrance.
Pretty much everything is nowadays.
What was the old woman's name?
Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, what's the actual character's name?
Rita Repulsa.
That's what the Rita was. Yeah, like every time I saw her, I'm like, I turned it over. I was like, I can't.
It was definitely it was monkey magic for the mid-90s kids.
Yep.
It's kind of offensive to monkey magic.
Monkey, actually. I only found out this year that it's not called monkey magic.
Yeah, just monkey.
Oh, sorry, guys. Where were you when I needed this?
They just remade it, actually.
They just remade...
Monkey.
They also just remade Power Rangers last year into a movie.
What do you think of the re-release?
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom us, as in it's like a big setup, get to that point and it's like, come see the next movie. We've got, we know you're coming back. Elizabeth Banks was the standout. I don't care about Bryan Cranston because I still haven't seen Breaking Bad, but that's just my 2 cents. Moving on, your next choice was very similar to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the fact that it's also a movie.
Oh, wow.
Why don't you tell us about the 2010 film you've selected?
All right, so this one, it's a bit of a love and hate relationship, as in I love it, some people seem to hate it. It's the Book of Eli, starring Denzel Washington. So this one, for those that haven't seen it, it's about a wasteland kind of apocalypse kind of world setting. And
we're living in the road.
Yeah.
We're living in the road in Mad Max.
And this gentleman's kind of traveling across America with a mission that he has from this kind of higher power. It's the twist that seems to kill some people's love of the movie.
Pretty much, spoiler alert for a film from 8 years ago.
He's handicapped.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in the entire wasteland are after him to get this secret weapon that he carries with him. At which point, right near the end of the film, including Gary Oldman, like he hams it up the whole way through this film.
Gary? No.
Yeah, I know. They chase him through the entire wasteland. He fights them off every time, and it's like he's almost a ninja, basically. He's got all these skills with a knife, and he really can defend himself.
Maybe went to the same island as the Power Rangers went to.
Well, perhaps, but he's got more of the Batman, I can smell people coming, and all these other things going on. He can, he's very observant. He just seems to have an edge on everyone else. Everyone else wants the edge that he has. And then the final twist of the film is that the edge that he has is the Holy Bible. He is actually carrying the final copy that survived the whatever ended the world, and it is the Holy Bible. So take that as you will.
It's one of those classic power of faith kind of things, if it can be.
It turns out that the weapon is
hope.
The weapon of hope and faith.
Once I found out that he was handicapped, I won't say what his handicap was for those that are still waiting.
I thought that was a really poor joke, but I just totally remember that. Yeah. Well, that's probably the main twist of the film that I won't get into. But yeah.
But I watched it back after they revealed it, and if
you're wondering why I just moved on when you said that, I was like, okay, we're not having Mike back ever again. But, yeah, sorry, that is a big twist of the film.
Yeah.
That does make it. I didn't, but once you find that out at the end, it's probably worth a rewatch
Yeah,
because I'm
rewatch,
sure
you can pick it up.
they would Fight Club a lot of it, where you're like, oh, now that I know this thing,
Yeah, like from the opening scene, you can tell.
now that I'm seeing it with different eyes,
Yeah, yeah. Clearer lenses. Yeah.
now the blinders are off. It's from 2010. I don't even care.
He's blind. All right. He's
just ruined it for everybody. Did you see it at the cinema? Was it one that you saw at home?
It
or?
wasn't actually. It's not one of those ones that I kind of bought into the hype or really saw the trailer. The first time I saw it was on DVD, which is probably not the best way to kind of hype a film or like to say it was really good. But I watched it.
This was before everyone was pretty sick of, the post-apocalyptic or...
this was right in the middle of that, yeah.
This is right in the resurgence where everything was grey-washed. Where it's...
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's almost insufferable because you get the likes of like Battle for Los Angeles and all those other movies where it's just all graded the same grey.
Yeah.
The earlier seasons of The Walking Dead also fell into that hole and it was just like... Nothing interesting, but at the time it was.
This film was worth it just for the fact that when it came out on DVD and people came and asked for it, they all say The Book of Ellie. And I was like, you're stupid.
So is Mila Kunis Ellie? Like, is that her name? Is that the twist? Other notable characters include Tom Waits, who's in it for 2 minutes. That was one other thing that I always stood out for this film. He also has one of the final mobile phones that work.
Yeah.
But he goes to different places and pays money to charge his phone on their chargers. And I'm like, no one's giving that back.
No.
Nobody is giving the final mobile phone around.
Well, there's obviously some holes in the story. I'm not going to say it's perfect.
This didn't really happen, is what I'm trying to say.
Directed by the Hughes brothers, who did From Hell, one of my favourite movies, and Menace to Society and Dead President. So, like, that's kind of...
Menace to Society was made by the same guy that made the Johnny Depp From Hell.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's very diverse.
Yes. They're diverse directors.
Definitely. And what was the third one you said?
Dead Presidents. Did you ever see that?
That's the one that is...
You see the guy with the ear necklace?
I
He's in Vietnam.
thought that was Universal Soldiers. Isn't Dead Presidents, it's basically the Point Break with none of the cool bits?
It's a very serious
Is it the
Point
bank?
Break.
It's the bank robbers that dress like...
And they keep switching between that and Vietnam War. And it's just, yeah.
Does Patrick Swayze show up in that one?
He's one of the ears.
Oh, there we go. And Gary Boozy actually lent it to the production. It was actually something that he owned.
I bit it off.
Sweet. We'll move on to some more choices from Mike here on WOWFM. Don't forget, you can check out what's happening with Wrestle Rampage on Facebook, including their big show, Simply the Best. I was almost going to say it's called We Don't Need Another Hero because I was totally mixed up.
No, Simply the Best, and it features the main event between Jonah Rock and gorgeous Greg Graham for the National Heavyweight Championship.
Greg Graham also on the same fitness regime as myself.
Yeah, he's perfected his niche. He's got it.
Definitely. You would really appreciate his gimmick.
I saw him.
Yeah. Basically, just...
Do you know what? I worked with one of his entourage guys.
Yeah, right.
Which one, please?
Bones?
Sam? The one with the beret. And
okay. The Sensational Stefan.
Oh, is that was his name? Yeah.
Stefan.
Nah, so, like, because I used to work with him, and then I was you're at the same, I think you wrestled at the same one, and I was like,
yep.
I know that dude. And it took me a couple of days.
We went to Redemption.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it took me a couple of days, and I'm like, that's his name. So, yeah. Yeah. Good on you.
You've just outed someone. But anyway, moving right on. Here is the specials from Shaun of the Dead. 100.5 WOW FM. There we heard the specials with Ghost Town, taken straight off the soundtrack of Shaun of the Dead from 2004. Gonna go on record and say the best zombie movie in the last 20 years easily.
Oh, classic.
Absolute classic. Tell us why you picked this one.
Oh, so this one here is obviously like the zombie genre is kind of something that's been struggling up and down for a while. But this one here, in all its kind of goofiness, is still a pure good zombie film. You've got these two kind of lovable characters that are awkward in their own right, which I guess brings that realistic sense of if there was an apocalypse, are you really going to be the general all of a sudden and know what to do?
Yeah.
No, they're just going to try and cricket bat and shovel their way to the pub. And
This
that's all they
film has so much heart to it. Like, I feel that someone that loves Love Actually would enjoy something from this film, and anyone that loves like the Romero zombie films would also love this film. It meshes together so well. Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg have just gone strength to strength from since this day.
Yep.
But I loved this film.
This one came out, I think, before the Dawn of the Dead remake came out. So, like, it was...
Nah, that was 2003, the Snyder's.
Because I was around
sure.
about the same time, like, when it came on DVD, at least. And it was just, like... To watch it now, like, obviously, like, it's a classic. But, like, back then, it was kind of a bit of a far-out sort of...
Same year, sorry. Apologies.
So, yeah, so, like... there wasn't much parody going on of horror, and it's really, really good. Like, it's as you said, it's a zombie film first and foremost, and it's comedy as well, and it's really, really works really well with each other.
I remember I was a massive horror nerd at the time, and I was obsessed with this website called All Things Zombie, and that's where I'd get all my movie news from. And forever, Shaun of the Dead was trying to get off of the ground, and I knew nothing about it other than the title.
Yep.
And just based on the title, I'm like, I hope this doesn't do well. I was just picturing some guys in their backyard with a video camera. Like, I'm like, this sounds terrible, but it is probably, it would be the zombie film I've seen most, rewatched the most times.
So that's the thing. It was kind of presented as a parody. It was presented as if it was going to be like a Dawn of the Dead ripoff.
Yep.
Which I guess that was their marketing tool. But it's its own story.
It is,
entity in
definitely.
Its own right. I still remember the scene in the car where the stepfather reveals how much he loves
Bill
Shaun.
Nye, yeah.
And you're just like, oh crap, this is heavy, and then it goes straight back to comedy because it takes the radio off.
There's so many little bits to sort of rewatch in this one too. Like you'll always, I reckon, for the first 10 times, you'll probably pick up something that you haven't seen before. Like there's. Like the reference of like they're coming to get us. We're coming to get to Barbara from Night of the Living Dead. Like the stuff on like the even like the bit with the records and just little touches.
One thing I love about this film, there was so much foreshadowing before it became like that's the main thing for movies now is to throw in some foreshadowing. It's like it's just what you have to have in any big film now. At the time, this was so far, and no one picked up on half of it. Like They did it in all three of the Cornetto trilogy, which are three of the best films you will find.
Yeah.
Where pretty much what Shaun suggests they do happens. Like they're the main plot points of the story, and that's just done so well. Even a lot of the posters and stuff in their house and in the backgrounds and stuff are all clues to what's coming and stuff. And I just thought that was beautifully done. And anyone that doesn't cry when spoiler alert, Shaun's mum has to go the way she goes.
Yeah.
They're lying. You cried at Paul, you cried at that one for sure.
But I think like, the best thing about it is it's pretty much one thing laid over constantly throughout the whole film. And it's just a nice classic, easy to watch, easy to get into. And then before you know it, you're emotionally invested into it. And you're like, what's happened?
Definitely. And everyone, like, pretty much the entire cast is someone that you like from something else. Like they've all done like Dylan Moran as a douche. Like usually like he's the guy you're going for, but he does so well. He's so unlikable in there.
Because did you like At World's End? Like the third one in the trilogy?
I liked all three of them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember the third one. I was like, I'd watched a couple more times. I was like, yeah, I like it now. Like I liked Simon Pegg. He wasn't the one you were rooting for. Like he's a bit of a dick in that film. So, nah, good. I love Hot Fuzz. Actually, Hot Fuzz was also a go-to for me too. Like for some reason, if I can't find anything else to watch, I'll chuck Hot Fuzz on.
All three of them are very easy to watch. Very easy to get into.
That's it. And like I said, if it wasn't for the spacey element of Baby Driver, I feel that would have been winning awards.
Yep.
And he would really... Edgar Wright has just gone from strength to strength, and pretty much everyone involved. Sadly, Simon Pegg got pinned to the Mission Impossible - Who Cares franchise, or the.
Well, he wrote the latest Star Trek too. Like
he took over because I can't remember exactly what happened. Someone was fired or someone left the production, and so he pretty much helmed the end of the film, and apparently what he did to the film was the only saving grace of the film. Now you've picked basically a film that started, somewhat of a genre or a reinvention of the genre. You've also picked a film that pretty much invented its own horror genre. From 2004, you've picked Saw.
Yes, yeah. So this is kind of like one of those early 2000 groundbreaking. And if like you haven't seen it, which I'm surprised if you haven't, it kind of really set in motion a lot of movies from that point.
Yeah.
It's just that clever kind of simplistic horror, but it was just the twists and the pulls and the games and the horror.
It became its own basically plot device, which became a pop culture reference.
Every
in every
movie
way.
is like, it's got a Saw-esque scene, or like it's kind of like sort of like this was the prototype for a lot of stuff. Yeah,
But it's the way it was also presented, like that whole just one room for majority of the movie, the flashbacks to how they kind of got there, and it was, I think what I love.
It was good storytelling and good direction.
You were finding out what was going on in the story as the characters were as well, so you kind of felt like you were really with them when they didn't know who the stranger was, when they didn't know the other guy in the room what his story was.
Yeah.
And then all the clues, and like it always just...
Well, even the later films were really clever in the way they actually turned to misdirection, which is not something that filmmakers used to deliberately do. Whereas this franchise has always set out that you don't know what's going on, and even if you do, it turns out that you don't, kind of thing. Paul really doesn't like Carrie Ewells, or however you say his last name. So you're probably the only person that enjoyed the ending of this film.
Couldn't be happier. This is what you do for making Princess Bride.
So if you were Jigsaw, yours would be, all right, Carrie, your key is inside of your neck. Cut your head off and you can go free.
I want to play a game. I want you to never have a career.
Get in this DeLorean and time travel back, and don't make the Princess Bride is where you're coming from. This
Danny Glover was in this. It was a good get at the time. It was just, It
was just an indie horror film, which went on to make... just trying to remember what the franchise made. Well, the film was made for $120,000, and it made way more than that.
It did.
And the thing is, like, I mean, there's the Australian connection too. So James Wan, Lee Whannell. Lee Whannell was on our TV screens every Saturday morning for Recovery.
He was also a he went on to do, I can't remember what he was doing at the time that they made it, but it was like Amazing, or that kind of like kids orientated like TV host.
This is where the dude from Viceland's going to be in like a time.
But I think like one of the key points is you couldn't pick what was going to happen.
Definitely.
So like everyone who's sitting there trying to guess, or that one guy's like, oh, I bet you this is the plot. And
this was our generation's version of a Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't who done it. It was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I think the horror across the board, pretty much movies across the board, owe so much to Saw in the level of graphic content that became acceptable in films again, because after the mid-90s, they kind of shied away from that. Whereas this was like, you either go harder or you don't even bother with gore. You ended up, sadly, the downside of that being is you end up with Eli Roth making films, which is an absolute travesty as far as I'm concerned.
And the two filmmakers, Lee Whannell and James Wan, went on to, of course, Lee Whannell just did Upgrade and also did Insidious.
And I believe James Wan did all the paranormal...
Conjurings.
Did he not do Paranormal Activity?
No, he didn't do Paranormal Activity. He did Conjuring, he did Furious 7, and he also has just done Aquaman.
Wow.
And is working on the Tommyknockers. So
I'm excited. I hope for some reason they bring Jimmy Smits back for that.
I'm sure they will.
I need to revisit that, but I loved that show.
Well, you take a film like you said, it only had 120,000 put into it, and then 103 million in money made. So obviously he hit some sort of note, and he's just been going strength from strength since.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely one to see if you haven't seen it before. And it's one of the best horror movies that have been in the last 20 years, I'd say.
I'm not sure.
And it's one to watch with like your grandparents and stuff. Anyone that's squeamish, it's pretty much for the same. Anyone you watch Shrek with, you should watch the original Saw film with, I reckon. Just having a quick look, blah, 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 blah. It said somewhere here how much money it's made overall. Oh, there we go. So pretty much they've spent on the films $77 million.
Yep.
And the franchise itself has made $975 million. So needless to say, if he is having a slow day and he wants to make a phone call and say, I'm making another Saw, they're throwing money.
They're making it back.
Here's a suitcase of money. All right, we might move on to the next films that you have chosen. and we'll get it to it this way. 100.5 WOW FM. Now that song is pretty much pointless when it's censored.
Yes, it is.
It's just the chorus. But anyway, that was Afro Man with "Cause I Got High," taken from the soundtrack of Mike's Next Choice. Tell us all about it.
Oh, so this one's a bit left field considering my other taste. This is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back from 2001. So this one features, I guess, for lack of a better term, two stoners from, is it Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah. And more or less they have a comic book based loosely around them as
Blunt Man and Chronic.
Blunt Man and Chronic. And then they find out that Miramax is doing a comic book movie, which now comic book movies are super popular, and they decide that they want the money. And
pretty much it's in the Ask universe, which it was called at the time, which I don't think it is called that anymore.
Are they going back into it? Because we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much it's a sequel to the story of Chasing Amy, with them being the intellectual property of the comic book.
Yep.
Then obviously at the time the likes of Spider-Man had actually, in real life, Spider-Man had rejuvenated comic book properties.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a satirical look at all that happening. Dimension Films released this, which also allowed them to ruin the third Scream film by having Jay and Silent Bob show up in the background. And I'm pretty sure Wes Craven does a cameo in this one somewhere. I loved this film. This film is the first movie I ever downloaded on dial-up internet.
Wow.
That was a trek. I think it was about a week, and that was back when dial-up would pick up. As long as you didn't close the error box, it would pick up when you reconnected the next day. So I reckon it was maybe 2 weeks of disconnecting in the morning, going to school, coming back, connecting again. Good times. One thing about it was a work print, so exact same movie. Some of the jokes were way funnier and way dirtier.
Yeah.
But the music was 10 times better because it was a work print. Kevin Smith had just thrown the songs that he wanted everywhere.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dimension went, we'll license this, we'll license this. So there was instead of Bad Medicine, when we first see Shannon Elizabeth's character, was Poison by Alice Cooper. And just songs that I preferred. And that's what I loved about it. And this was also in the era of time that I was going to be marrying Shannon Elizabeth. She didn't know about it, but it was going to happen.
I think there was a lot of people that wanted to marry her.
Didn't
Especially
happen.
the Charlie's Angel ripoff scene. That was amazing.
Definitely. And even the... what's the Catherine Zeta entrapment, the laser scene as well.
Yeah.
So, this film's fantastic. Paul, would you like to expose the world to your Kevin Smith love heart chest tattoo and tell us all about it?
I saw this movie 3 times in the cinemas. I bought it a couple of times on DVD. There's a double disc DVD that shows, I think there's 42 deleted scenes, and I'm not even kidding. They're all hilarious because I cut so much from this film. Like, there's an awesome scene of Will Ferrell's Marshall Willenholly is just amazing. There's so many sort of cameos in this film too. Like
with the work print, it was pretty much all the ad-libs from Will Ferrell were way dirtier in the version I saw. Which, don't get me wrong, this is a filthy, filthy movie. This deserves the MA it got, at least. Super offensive, fantastic cameos, the likes of George Carlin and
Carrie Fisher's in this.
Fisher.
Yeah. Ali Larder, Eliza Dushku, and Shannon Elizabeth played the thieves with Jennifer Schwartzbach. Matt Damon, Jason Lee. Judd Nelson plays the sheriff, and it's one of my favourite characters.
One of my favourite...
Sean Millian Scott in this movie is excellent.
One of my favourite meta-humour bits in pretty much anything at the time was Ben Affleck as Matt Damon and Matt Damon as Ben Affleck on the scenes of Good Will Hunting 2.
Yep.
Hunting season.
Yeah.
And it
applesauce.
It is, just the way that they portray each other was so fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
Me and one of my friends still do lion face, lemon face. Ooh.
I really love even James Van Der Beek and I'm totally forgetting his name from American Pie. Jason Biggs. Their meta-humor scene is so fantastic when he basically does the rant about what he does with the pie.
Yeah.
And he goes, I was in, no one ever tells me all the other movies I've been in.
I loved you and she's all that. It even makes me like a scene with Jamie Kennedy in it, which I don't usually like, but him and his in Chris Rock's scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I think it's one of the things is for 2001. So this is obviously going back a bit. It really kind of, for me, set up the one-liners.
Yes.
So there's so many good one-liners in this movie that you just can't help but, when it's on, you just rant along to it. Like Cockknocker.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Even ones that, like, there's so many parts of this film that I did not remember were from this film.
Yeah.
And for years, me and a lot of my mates, whenever we had to give a fake name, we're always saying Pumpkin Escobar.
Yeah.
And I never knew what that was from. And it was only when this first got put back onto Netflix last year or something.
Yeah.
And it's Tracy Morgan's character's name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's where it's from. Oh, such a good film. It's definitely one that... This was around the time for me when I had developed my own taste in movies that my parents couldn't stand. And this would be like the flagship film where they're like, turn this off. Yeah, turn this off.
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
and sticking with Kevin Smith, you also
jumping
picked,
back a couple of years to 1999, you picked one of the most sacrilegious films that ever made it to cinema release.
How it made it, I'm not sure.
Tell us all about it.
This is Dogma. So obviously very similar cast as in these films. Part of the series with your Chasing Amy's, your Mole Rats and all that. But Dogma was basically a religious slight, I guess would be the best way of putting it, of God and angels and trying to undo creation. And
this was his masterpiece. So when we saw it, I was knee deep in my Smith obsession when I saw this movie, and so I read a lot of backstory to it. So
was this when he got his first budget? Because it looks like it.
He wrote this before Mallrats, but he couldn't get it made, and he didn't want to sort of skimp on the budget. So he did Mallrats, did Chasing Amy, going back into sort of getting some money, and they gave him a bit of a budget, and he made Dogma. Because at the end of Mallrats, there's actually a thing that says
James
we'll
will
see
return.
you again in Dogma. So it's and it's just, and they've got a monkey, which also
which
relates.
is Suzanne, which ends up being in,
and there's also there's some crossover comics of how they're all connected up, and it's really, really interesting. But yeah, it's probably not my favorite, but it's right up there. I love everything about this. Alan Rickman is so good in this film. I love it.
There is a scene that pretty much I don't think would get made this side of the year 2000 where basically as the fallen angels, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon basically lay their vengeance upon some sinners.
Oh yeah,
that's not a scene that I would see in a modern film. It is very, very
sparing one poor secretary.
You didn't say bless me when I sneezed. It's basically when a fantastic director finally gets to play with the toys he wants. He can afford the toys that he wants to make a film, and
he gets to make a rubber poop monster.
This, to me, is the best Kevin Smith movie. I really love this.
Jason Lee is awesome as Azrael. As one of the...
I loved Jason Lee until I realised that he just yells his lines in everything except "My name is Earl."
Yeah.
There's no acting; it's just being loud. How recently have you revisited Dogma?
I watched it last year.
Chris Rock cannot act. And I always feel like he's been in enough things to have learned to act. In this, it is just... I don't know what it is. His timing's off or if it's the way it's edited.
This is just when he's starting to get into films, though. I think he was mostly stand-up and Def Jam and Saturday Night Live, so maybe he just getting his chops.
I didn't feel he was terrible.
I personally don't remember it or have had posters of it or anything, but apparently Salma Hayek does a striptease in this film, but I don't even remember.
Yeah, isn't
that.
she a stripper of some sort?
Don't even
she's
remember.
A muse.
Yeah,
it's not my favourite bit at all.
She's serendipity, so she's a muse, and and
that's when
she does it to ABC.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. It's my favourite bit.
Okay.
I was trying to not be that guy for once.
Keeping face for your wife.
Nope.
Even the very start, it's the one thing at the time I remember seeing it. I went in expecting a comedy, and it's kind of a drama / horror / it's kind of all over the shop because the Beelzebub's cronies are basically kids on rollerblades with doggy sticks, and the opening where Jason Mewes yells at them and it's like their big hero moment entering the movie, best thing ever. I reckon I've rewatched that over and over again.
So he calls him Mighty Duck.
Yeah. Such a good film. Such a good choice.
It's kind of one of those things where your two unlikely heroes out of two stoners basically have this super important mission to escort this lady across to the chapel.
Yeah.
But it's just fantastic. Like, it's one of those ones that late 90s, good Christian boy, went to a Christian school, started to scratch my head a little bit.
Yeah, and then you find out Alanis Morissette is God. So yeah, that's how.
With a voice that explodes heads, like that's
exactly
fantastic.
Yeah.
Who played the voice of God again?
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. That's one of the best things. And for anyone that's into podcasts, I recommend getting into the Smodcast that was released after Alan Rickman passed away. It's one of the most genuine love letters I've ever heard. It's weird to hear famous people fan out about famous people, but the love that Kevin Smith had for him was like, it was actually touching, because I usually laugh when someone cries about stuff. It was genuine, and I didn't like it because I'm into...
Apparently Jay, have you seen that bit where he says like Jay learned his lines and everyone else's lines because he didn't want to piss off Alan Rickman? But my all-time favorite bit, I still think of this day, is when Loki shoots the guy on the bus and everyone runs off and they're just sort of stranded in the middle of nowhere, and he just goes, "Whose house? Run's house."
I said,
say what? And the holy bartender is one of the funniest jokes ever. Because I love the
delay.
Yeah, way later Jay gets it. This film, I would say, well, my path of Kevin Smith films, I saw Mallrats first, Dogma, then I went back and watched Chasing Amy, and then followed him chronologically.
Yeah.
But Dogma is my absolute favourite.
Cool.
It's all about me.
Clerks is still mine.
This is DVG. Now, the Beer Bellies.
Yes, new album out today. I know we do a lot of punk stuff on here, but this is more funky, jazzy types of stuff. But yeah, give them a go. They're an excellent band.
This is WOWFM. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest songs we've ever played here on Dave's Video Graveyard.
Played the whole thing, huh?
Yeah. I got carried away because how can you not?
I'm glad, because it's that part of the movie where we find out that Matthew Broderick is doing the lines for it now. So,
yeah, but cool. You know, even some of the greatest albums out there have a terrible song on them. So, and thus we get to Mike's next choice of favourite films. Tell us all about it.
So this is the classic. If you haven't seen it, then don't even bother talking to me. 1994, The Lion King.
Also known as the greatest animated film in the history of the world. That is a fact. You can look it up on our website when we launch it next week. I'm sure you'll find that fact there somewhere.
So yeah, after Iron Giant, yeah, definitely.
Iron Giant has Vin Diesel in it. Just warning you.
So this is just one of those films that as a kid, like, you could just watch. And I remember...
Sorry, as a kid?
As a kid, yeah.
I got to fact check that. What constitutes a kid?
Well, I was under the age of 18, right?
No, whatevs.
Well, pretty much, we had it on VHS, and we would watch it, and as soon as it was finished, it would go rewind. I'd sit there, and the VHS player would make the funny noise, and play and start watching it all over again. Sing along to all the songs. Oh, it was just amazing, top to bottom.
I hate Scar so much that in films where Jeremy Irons is a good guy, I watch the entire trailer I watch the entire credits in case there's an after credit scene where he's revealed to be the bad guy. That's how evil he is.
Oh, it's a pretty cynical kind of storyline, isn't it? The overthrow of a king, killing, murdering, stuff like that. Bit heavy for a kid.
Nah, not at all. It's Disney. What do you expect? It's it laid the path for the likes of basically Black Panther. A lot of it harkens to this story.
But off air, we're talking about how it's going to be remade as a live action, and they're actually cutting the best song, "Be Prepared." Oh. I love the song.
You know what? If I was to create a playlist that would basically, almost in a true crime-esque #true crime kind of thing, I would be able to find out who's evil by whose favourite song is "Be Prepared." Because that's also known as the song that you fast forward.
No.
Really? No.
Yeah.
I think you've drawn a line, and you've definitely crossed something there. I think the song was essential to the story, and it's such a powerful moment of the uprising.
Imagine if, as it's made in as it was made in 1994. Imagine that film being released for the first time 2018, and the parallels of the basically the hyenas and the Nazis doing a death march.
When they're marching past.
Imagine if
Completely
that
not
happened
acceptable.
in 2018.
Nah, they need to leave it in there. Like it's one of the best parts of the movie for me. Jeremy Irons just like I don't think he actually sang the song, but like
Yeah, no, it's definitely Jeremy.
because like
Irons.
there's a couple of bits where it's just like he's just chewing vocal scenery. Like it's amazing, and the hyenas are in there.
It's definitely I reckon you've nailed the way they cast this film, because you said basically Broderick, I think it was off air, is a stage actor and he can sing. All the delivery of pretty much the entire film is very stage actory across the board. It's such a good film. It's flawless.
It's got one of those things. It's every song you can kind of tap your foot to or get behind, and then you watch obviously Simba grow up and it goes back, and it's powerful. I remember as a kid there wasn't a part that I fast forwarded or I didn't watch. Still to this day, when I see Mufasa lying there and Simba comes out, that's heartbreaking, man. It's so hard.
You are a robot if you don't feel something.
Run away, Simba.
It is a Terminator 2 Finish-esque scene where it's okay to cry for it.
Have either of you ever gone to Monado Zoo?
No.
And done the tour? When you do the tour and they go to the hyena part, those keepers have got such a chip on their shoulder about how hyenas are represented in Lion King, because they're like, every time I've gone like a few times, and every time they're like, no, they're not like the hyenas you see in the Lion King. They're actually very smart, and they're actually like...
Sorry, but my knowledge of hyenas comes from David Attenborough, and the fact that they're opportunistic killers is pretty much the way they're always...
Oh my lord! And the last time me and my wife were just looking, it's like, just wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it. And it happened again. They're like, they do not like the Lion King at Monado's.
It was just that Scar being the master manipulator, pulling the right strings. He gets it in the end. Let's face it, the hyenas get him.
Pretty full on too with the shadows and all that stuff when he gets by the hyenas. So.
And they kind of did it in a way where you don't see anything, but as a kid, you know what happens.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
It also harkens back to like historical, like royal family kind of feuds, and it's a perfect film in every way. We even got treated to the spin-off Timon and Pumbaa TV show that was on Saturday mornings.
Two movies.
Yeah. They got their own movies as well.
2 movies, yeah.
Pretty much the first thing that I noticed Nathan Lane in, then went back and saw like the likes of the Birdcage, and he pops up in a lot of stuff still.
And if you want to know what Pumbaa looks like, if you remember the Seinfeld episode where they're in the subway and there's a big fat guy naked on it, that's Pumbaa.
So he was a method actor, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yep.
Nice. Cheech Marin and Whoopi Goldberg also as...
Got some flack a couple of years ago because they just realised that like all the hyenas, the bottom feeders, were all black and Hispanic. So
yeah,
sure.
Definitely this day and age would get a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah, yep. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, look, it's a really well made movie. Probably my favourite.
James Earl Jones, iconic role as well. When he's not Darth Vader or the king of... what's the name of the country in Coming to America?
I can't remember.
I'm totally drawing a blank. Jamie, get on it. This film I just have to gush over because every song, everything except Be Prepared is fantastic.
Well, I was gonna say-
Rowan Atkinson's fantastic in this film. You said he's going to be played by John Oliver.
Yeah, Zazu will be John Oliver. The closest comparison I think you could get would be Aladdin. And like Aladdin, there was stuff that I'm like, I can leave the room and get a snack during this because like any bit without the genie, I'm like...
I was going to say, Aladdin is just an improv set from Robin Williams with an animated film wrapped around it.
They're going to make that too. And I've
Who
heard...
will be the genie?
I've heard...
I bet they give someone like Will Sasso or something like that.
Isn't it The Rock?
As the genie.
Damn, I want to hate it.
No, I remember like there's something to do with like Jaden Smith was in it as well. Maybe I don't know. There's like a lot of names flying around, but
So looking forward to 2019, we've got Donald Glover as Simba, Seth Rogen as Pumbaa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The guy from Doctor Strange, whose name I can't pronounce, as Scar.
Yep.
Sorry, Will Smith is the genie.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I have a Will Smith rule, and even I don't want that to happen. Oh, Eric Andre is going to be in this, and I'm really excited because there's a massive fan of the Eric Andre show, which is... Have you ever watched the Eric Andre show on YouTube? It's
funny.
deliberately bad, and it's same... Because it's Adult Swim, it's very similar to John C. Reilly's Steve Brule, where it's poorly formatted deliberately, but done well. I'm excited for that. John Oliver Azazu.
Beyonce's even there. Nala.
Yep. I'm skeptical, but I'm excited because
What's Billy Eichner playing?
He is Timon.
Oh, all right, cool.
Oh no,
Billy in the street.
But we've got Billy and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa. That is going to be. Oh, no.
Just sum it up. Yeah.
It's going to be rough. We'll move into a song which sadly isn't from The Lion King, but we'll be back here on Dave's Video Graveyard very shortly. 100.5 WOWFM. There's a new and upcoming band that I haven't heard about before. They're called, I believe it's Queen with Don't Stop Me Now. Also from Shaun of the Dead, because I clicked on the wrong thing, is how some people would see it. But anyway, the next film we are talking about involves one of the most insufferable humans on screen. But I must say, I really enjoyed this film. I've avoided this since it came out. And you know what? Great film.
Yep, The Last Samurai is what we're going to talk about, and with Dave's mate Tom Cruise.
Visually fantastic. It looks like it was made this week. Like, you know what I mean? Like the cinematography and the effects, it's held up. Like it doesn't look like if you watch Braveheart now. You know what I mean? Like we're like a
terrible.
No, but like you know, we're a film that's set in a certain period. It doesn't look like it was released on video and then put onto DVD, is the way I'm saying. Yeah. And I really, really enjoyed this film.
It's the classic case of the broken hero trying to find his feet, and then his own ignorance and pain becomes, I guess his saving grace to some extent, learns the way of a new culture. I thought it was a great film to watch, and I kind of emotionally invested in the character. I'm not going to say every movie he's ever been in is great, but this one I definitely felt was worthy of the list.
Yeah, like I haven't watched it in recent years, but when it first came out, I was it had Billy Connolly in it. Like, I really liked that. As I said, it looks really good. Like I can't get over it. Yeah, but but Tom Cruise. I'm like, you don't like him. I sort of, he has like two good movies and one really, really bad one. It's just his bad ones are so bad.
It's kind of like if you tune out for 5 years and tune back in.
Yeah. He's got to stop doing Mission Impossibles, because I saw a trailer for that last one. I'm like, I just don't care.
Might be. Oh, that's one. I actually thought it was going to be called Mission Impossible. We don't care either now. It's become the Simon Pegg show, as it rightfully should.
Yep.
And then every now and then they go, oh, don't forget Ving Rhames is still a thing. Hey, he's here, guys. He's here. This film came out before, I guess, cultural appropriation was a hot topic.
It is based on truth, though. I mean, it's based on a true story. It's just, I'm not sure how it goes these days. But look, I think it would still be fine. I would watch it again. I couldn't find it on anywhere to find it. It's not streaming or anything.
I have it on DVD. That's why I have it.
Yeah.
You have the one copy.
The one copy. Well, it's just one of those things that from... You said you're not really a big fan, but what was about the film that made you go, it's not bad?
It looked fantastic.
Yep.
I was just about to look up in my brain without looking up online how much it cost, because it looks expensive.
Looks sick.
The thing that I find I don't like about Tom Cruise films is he's smug and insufferable in so many things.
Oh, yeah.
Where I feel like the real him shines through too much. But in this, he was a fantastic actor that deserved to be an A-list actor. Like, I'm quite jaded by the likes of the War of the Worlds remakes and all these films where it's just...
You didn't like that?
I didn't mind the film, but his role was to wear a leather jacket and just run. Like, that's pretty much... And you know that was all he's doing. I like that he hates to be cast with anyone that makes him look small.
Yeah.
Just so
he's doing kids films right now.
He's in the Sandlot 3 or whatever they're up to.
I I like him in like Collateral. I reckon that's like one of his more grounded movies and stuff like that. This one will be up there too. I think he did go through like this is probably in his not lull, but when he sort of did like a bunch of decent films in a row, and then he went back to the Mission Impossible well.
Yeah.
This film was made for $140 million. And to put that into context, I'm just trying to remember how much the original Star Wars was made for.
I remember also this one, a big one, for some reason, when it came out on DVD, it was like one of the first ones that was a double DVD, and it was just, they had like a lot of special features, lots of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely invested a lot into the movie, you can tell that for sure.
Oh, it made an absolute, like, killing.
Remember the late 90s when he didn't do anything for a while? Like, just did Magnolia and like, I don't care.
So the original Star Wars cost $11 million, not adjusted for inflation. But this did go on to make $456.8 million.
Yes.
So I wonder which... Nowadays, it's sad to see, but a lot of blockbusters pander to the overseas audience.
Yeah.
The likes of the Transformers, whatever the one with Grimlock in it was, where they set the whole second half like in different parts of the world just to pander to the audiences there. I've got nothing bad to say about it, and I really want to because just Tom Cruise's face. It's just
there's also came a time where like
makes me ball up my fists looking at it.
There's also came a time. Remember the movie Hero that came out as another sort of from Japan, China, and
try not to punch the mic.
Yeah, I'll try not to punch the mic.
He's swinging at me. You saw that?
Yeah. Sucker punch.
Getting warmed up. So I think like
DVG home of the Cowies.
What?
Coward punch. If you give it a snappy name, it's not as bad. Sorry, back to you talking about movies.
Something about something.
I lost my train of thought.
Heroes. We were going
yeah. So like I think it was just at that time, just before like Kill Bill and everything too, where like there was more of a spotlight on Asian influenced cinema and lots of stuff. So yeah, I think it came around at that time. What else is on your list for tonight?
The other film that we were going to talk about is... I'm just trying to remember the list. If you give me 1 second.
That's all right, guys. While you were waiting for the list, tune in this Saturday at Fowler's Live, 18-plus show. So that's adults only. I will be in a match against Link Barnett, Mike Boomer versus Link Barnett, for the Cruiserweight Cup Championship. I'm currently the holder, and I'm hoping to defend it. The doors open at 7 p.m., and the show starts at 8 p.m. So get along down to that, have a few drinks, and cheer me on because it's going to be balls to the wall, hard-hitting, high-flying wrestling action.
And now balls to the wall isn't a rule, it's just a suggestion. And
obviously, the 18 plus please?
Drink responsibly, and tickets, find out all the info, jump on the Wrestle Rampage Facebook or their website, and definitely... cannot recommend it highly enough, especially if it's your first time checking out local wrestling, because it is a better product than you will see on television, and that's across the board.
Yeah.
Supporting local businesses, because that's what it is. It's local wrestling, and this is where we all start. It's the indies.
Take it from me. I used to give wrestling shit all the time, and then I went and saw it and I was like, this is pretty good. My eyes were opened.
And we do nothing but support local things here on DVG. 2012 South African film. Safe House.
Safe House, yes. Another Denzel Washington movie. He's just that smooth, cool black guy. Like, if I was going to be a black guy, that's who I'd want to be. Teaming up with Ryan Reynolds. And I found this movie to be very good. Like, the story, it's probably not, I don't know, the most in-depth, but you've got this former, CIA agent?
It's become I don't know where it started, but it has become it's the new version of buddy cop.
Yeah.
Where they don't necessarily become buddies too much of it. Denzel's done about 400 of these style films, including Two Guns with Paul's mate Mark Wahlberg. That one wasn't too bad as well.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
This film, it was right when Denzel had basically, after Training Day and the likes of Man on Fire, everyone's like, yep, he's an action star, we're on board.
Yep.
Not just, he was a fantastic dramatic actor of the 90s, showing his real chops here. What I really liked is he's basically the grizzled old, CIA guy.
Yeah.
And the hot-headed Ryan Reynolds is the new up-and-comer, and it's cool the way it's pretty much the same the same kind of thing as, like we spoke off air, the Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah.
It's the exact same kind of thing. One thing that I enjoyed about Safe House was that Denzel just gets the upper hand pretty much every single time.
Very intelligently played.
That's it. And Robert Patrick's there, which anytime I can think about Robert Patrick in Terminator 2 is a good film.
Yep.
I watched on the weekend Firewall with Harrison Ford because I heard that he beat someone up with a blender, and true to the statement, he beat someone up with a blender.
No.
But Robert Patrick's in that one too. He's just a bad guy. He's just always a bad guy.
Well, see, I think what I loved about this one is you had Denzel and Ryan Reynolds, and you just so badly wanted them to kind of be buddy-buddy, but it's kind of like that whole, he's still the bad guy. He's still that walking that jagged line of is he good, is he bad? And poor Ryan Reynolds, who's the noble good guy, ends up selling in his own kind of, his own morals and stuff to kind of get the story done.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about it, because since seeing this, like obviously the safe houses of the different, like, you know, black ops type, CIA and all that kind of stuff, what do they do when nothing's happening? Like, I reckon you'd get away with like a good couple months of just not doing anything at the safe house. That would be the best part of the job, getting highly paid to just like watch TV.
Yeah.
And then anytime imagine if the like batteries or something were going flat, or if there was a power fault and one of the panic alarms went off there. Worst day ever.
Well, I think like because another one that Ryan Reynolds was casted in was did you guys ever see, was it Smoking Aces?
Yep. Yes.
Where they seem to like to play that whole broken moral character with him.
Yeah.
And he seems to do it well. Like that one was a bit more heavy when he has to pull the plug on the two guys and he's crying and all that kind of stuff.
After he saved the third Blade film, after Wesley Snipes just stopped showing up most days, they're like, okay, be in this. It's an action. You just need to wisecrack between being a somewhat of an anti-hero, and he turned it into a career.
Yeah. See, I think like for me, the turning point for him was Amityville Horror, when he was the kind of
where it was muscly and scary as.
Yeah, I think that was my turning point for him, where he went from that, what was that, Van Wilder?
Yeah. Van Wilder, pretty much everyone was still like considering the guy from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Yeah.
And that's one of the only performances where I see like a comedian, like it's kind of like Robin Williams when he goes serious, like he does not crack. He's not there to crack jokes, and like he doesn't like, but remember it's still me. It's like, nah, like Ryan Reynolds in Amityville Horror is a dramatic
and that's one thing I've found will set him apart from like Chris Hemsworth or even Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt will not be able to play it straight without at least one wisecrack.
Yeah.
Like moving forward, I can just tell that he thinks Chris Hemsworth has tried serious and he's so boring.
Yeah.
Whereas Ryan Reynolds, you do have that like, he's gonna make a joke about something, and he just doesn't.
No.
And it's.
No, I remember him in Amityville Horror, and like his character when he starts to go into the deluded state, like me being a little bit afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like that whole punishment.
When he's making the son hold the wood to chop is stuck in my mind. That's terrifying.
A serious moment, isn't it?
Definitely.
But yeah, so that's what I thought was good, is that whole, they're playing on that Ryan Reynolds broken moral thing, and you know, is helping Denzel the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Who's the good guy? Where do your morals sit?
Yeah. Nah, it's definitely a good movie to watch, yeah.
Sweet. We'll move back into the music, coming back with the final choices from Mike Boomer. Don't forget to check out Wrestle Rampage simply by jumping on Facebook or Google search. This is DVG. .5 WOWFM. There we had Paulie's worldview soulmate, if you will, Fat Mike from NoFX.
Yeah, great bunch of guys those guys are.
I'm just saying, I'm not defending at all. Going on the record saying I'm not defending. He's always been a terrible person. It's not news to anyone. We're here with a not terrible person, Mike Boomer, unless he defeats Paul in their after-show fight that is scheduled. And providing that he's not too injured, Mike Boomer, who will you be facing on the weekend? Who will you be destroying with the Dead Man's Chest?
So with Dead Man's Chest, I hope to concave his chest in with Link Barnett. Former tag team partner, now foe, one of those classic stories. He wants what I have, and I'm willing to punch him in the face for it.
No love lost there.
No. Let's keep it very straight. It's a bout at the end of the day. The bell rings, the fight happens, the bell rings again.
Now, and the thing that I must say about pro wrestling is, you know, when someone you know from school vaguely or something is on Facebook, and they either have a massive argument or they give you one side of too much information of drama, and you're like, I'd really love to see how this plays out. The greatest thing about professional wrestling is you get to see how this plays out. You can head along to Fowler's and see how this all pans out this Saturday night. It's going to be fantastic. Moving on to something that I hated at the time, revisited it on Mike's suggestion, really, really liked it, and then Paulie brought out his elitist science fiction boner. What did that think of this film, Paulie?
What? I just after.
I'm just saying, you really like good science fiction.
We're talking about Chronicles of Riddick, and like my only problem with this one when it first came out is like it was such a departure from the first one, which was like more indie and very sort of alien-esque.
It was Starship Troopers in a claustrophobic. It was the aliens from Starship Troopers, pretty much.
Yeah.
In a claustrophobic horror movie.
So I just didn't know whether there was more to sort of to go back to, and then like this came out, and like as I said at the time, not that into it. Then I rewatched it again. It wasn't too bad.
The main thing that stood out for me when I first saw it at the cinema back in the day was the first one felt like 50 years into our own future. Do you know what I mean? Like it felt like he'd been sent from Earth almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's the vibe I got. Like almost just a future of our civilization. This one's like, nah.
It jumped.
Lord of the Rings in space, yo. Why did you pick this film?
Oh, so this is one of those ones that I don't know. As a younger man, I won't say child or anything because that offends people in this room.
No, you just don't say Lion King's for children because it's not. It's for manly men and everyone else
who appreciates a good film, right?
That's it.
I'm completely with you. No, this one here was, I guess, the classic anti-hero. I watched the first one, and that was good as, I guess, your science fiction kind of horror film, but I felt like there was more to kind of uncover about the Riddick character. And this one kind of shed a little bit of light on it.
So did the makers of this film.
Yes.
One thing I loved about this, which I never really paid attention to originally, they've thrown a lot of money into this film in the sense of they want to build the worlds, they want epic battles. And one thing I really like, so many science fiction movies where a world or an Earth or a planet has been conquered, it's after the fact, and they're always like, oh, after the great battle of blah, blah, blah. This shows the established planet.
Yep.
Then it shows it getting invaded, and it shows pretty much, you know the way they always say, oh, this planet fell and it only took like 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
This
is all on screen, and I really appreciated that because you don't get that outside of the likes of nowadays, like the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy or something. And they were so ambitious with this film, and I really enjoyed that about it.
Well, I think that's the difference between the first and the second is budget. Like the first one was a good film, but you could definitely tell it was on a smaller budget, smaller scale. I don't know if they expected it to be as popular as what it became, but this second one, like, what was the Necromongers,
they looked awesome, and everything's a skull or a dead body or something.
It was like space medieval.
Yeah,
amazing.
I really liked it, and they were pretty obsessed with either faces or skulls on their stuff.
Yep.
Everything was kind of like this bio armor with like bones and stuff on it. Looked fantastic. That's what I mean. Money has been spent. Fantastic character actors in the sense of you got Keith David in there, also Judi Dench, and I forgot that after, like, as of maybe the first or maybe the second or fourth Fast and the Furious is when Vin Diesel stopped doing one-liners.
Yep.
But he's Schwarzenegger-esque in the one-liners in these films. They're like almost, I'd say, borderline poorly written, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas it's like, oh, come up with the pun, come up with the pun.
Well, I feel this movie kind of played to Diesel's strength. Like, I'm not saying he's the world's greatest actor and his range is limited to some extent, but I felt that the Riddick character it sat well with him. It was something that wasn't too hard for him to pull off. He could just kind of be big, mean, and tough.
One thing that stood out in that kind of thing with Vin Diesel in this film, he is really good at saying the F word. Now, some actors, when like the likes of The Rock, when he says the F word in films, just doesn't
seem genuine.
It doesn't come from the right place. Vin Diesel in this says the F word in the same way that Brian Brown says that other terrible word that starts with C, where it's just like you feel like he's saying it to you watching it on film. And I don't think he's done anything this gritty since. Like, I really enjoyed it. I didn't like the follow-up movie, Riddick. Yeah.
No?
What did you think of that one?
So I think they tried to go back to more of the roots with it, because I think they did quite a big, elaborate thing on the second. You know, bringing in this new enemy, him becoming the king of the castle in a sense, and I think they wanted to bring back his survival aspect. So I can respect what they tried to do, but I kind of feel like they tried to emulate more of the first one while meshing the second, and I don't think it worked quite as well.
Jamie, our long-time listener and pretty much fact-checker guy, he's like knows everything that we don't, pretty much. He's made the joke that Vin Diesel went on to become the ultimate one-liner guy with Groot. But if you think about it, he only says one line in The Iron Giant, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah.
So take that, Jamie.
Yeah.
The only time I'll ever technically equal with you.
And he's going to be a guest on the show in a couple of weeks' time, so, you
Definitely.
Oh, there could be blows there. It could be a different kind of fist fight.
You might want to be advised, Jamie, to choose your words when talking about animated lion films. You won't be blacklisted, just like Mike.
Ferris Bueller better be on your list, dude.
No.
But I think like the drawing aspect to the Vin Diesel character, or the Riddick character, was he kind of just wanted to be left alone, and that's all he really wanted. So, you know, it starts off with him on that barren kind of ice world.
With this one, he starts off, he's going to rescue the character from the first film. The basically the chick from the first one, from Pitch Black, that he escaped with. That's who he's...
That's the midway point, yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, no, sorry, it is too.
Because after he gets caught and taken... Oh, he doesn't get caught. He kills all the mercs and goes to see who put the bounty on his head. And then it's Jack. What was the...
Yeah, Jack was the
from the last one. What was her name in this one?
I'm just trying to think.
Is it there on the screen that we can just look at?
Yeah. What was it again? Akira, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that I was like, you guys got a bit lazy on that day. The fact that like Judi Dench was like an air element goddess called like Arion. I'm like, you are being so lazy. Like, does she have a cousin called Water Arion? That's a water element. That was just a bit of laziness.
Well, I think they used up all their good names with the necromongers and all that.
I think this film's sadly a bit too far gone, but it needs to be revisited to get the respect it deserves. I'd lump it in the same category as I always do with Last Action Hero, which everyone hated at the time. Same with The Cable Guy. Where
everyone hates Last Action Hero now too.
Yeah, I know, but I think if they revisited it, they'd see it with a new set of eyes.
Those eyes would hate it too?
Shut up. That's my rebuttal to that point. So we've come to the point in the show where we've pretty much run out of time. Paul's got his nasty pants on, as he quite often does at the end of the show.
He is quite cranky, I must say.
That's it. So coming up this weekend, tell us one more time what's happening and how everyone can get involved.
So we have a Wrestle Rampage presents Simply the Best down at Fowler's Live. The doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8. It is adults only, 18 plus. You have the main event, Jonah Rock, the King of Monsters, against Simply the Best, gorgeous Greg Graham, for the Australian National Heavyweight Championship. And the other bout featuring a championship match is yours truly, Mike Boomer, taking on Link Barnett, where I'll be defending the Cruiserweight Cup champion. Awesome show. This one, you don't need to bring the kids. Enjoy a few bevies responsibly and enjoy some wrestling.
Maybe wait and take the kids to Wrestle Rampage Nutbush City Limits, which is coming up next month here in... Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. This has been a really good list. Definitely a departure from a lot of the films that we've covered before. Thank you very much. Always welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. And,
Thank you.
Keep arguing amongst yourselves.
This is 100.5 WOW FM. Coming up this week, we're finally releasing the first edition of our podcast. So make sure you check out our Facebook to follow that. Anything else, Paul?
No, the podcast coming up, and we'll see you next week. I think
it's a Shane Black special. Yeah.
Long Kiss Goodnight coming at you.
I watched Last Action. I watched I'm totally...
Try again.
I watched Last Boy Scout on my hard drive on Saturday afternoon, and then it was on free-to-air TV Saturday night, and I watched it again, except with ads and censored, and it wasn't as good. But Shane Black is the man.
I'm so glad you added that on at the end.
That Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe movie.
Nice Guys.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really tired. This is DVG. Don't forget to check out Amy tomorrow night, covering for the Liquidizer, starting at 8. Some pretty cool stuff here on WOWFM.